All right. We'd like to welcome you to the MISchoolData technical updates for May 2026. This is the last update that we have scheduled for the 25-26 school year, which seems unbelievable that we're ending up the school year, but our presentation link is here and it's also included in the chat. Our professional learning team, just to round out with our experts at CEPI, Cheryl, she's unable to join us today, but we will cover her presentation. Myself, Christy Martin, Macomb ISD, and Kathy Miller representing Shiawassee RESD. So this rounds out our professional learning team with these webinars.
So we share the slide deck.
I did. Did you get it?
I have it in the chat, but I don't have it on the screen.
Oh, right here.
Can you see it, Kim? Maybe I've just set up weird.
You're good? Okay.
Okay.
All right, just a reminder, all of the MISchoolData resources are registered through the Creative Commons license, and you are welcome to share or adapt any of our resources for non-commercial purposes. And we ask that you always provide the proper attribution to the MISchoolData Professional Learning Network. All publications, materials, and resources on this site are licensed, and also these permissions beyond the scope of this license may be available at CEPI, and the link is there. Today, our content, this is just your quick slide that will take you to each area in the presentation for today. If you just click on these, it will advance you to those particular sections in the slide deck. And then at the end, of course, we have a feedback form, and we really appreciate your feedback at the conclusion. Please record your attendance. That link is also in the chat for today, and we will move on with our learning objectives. So today we are going to cover, on behalf of Cheryl, the recent released reports coming soon and the new developments happening in the portal, understanding how to showcase your district's points of pride in the EEM, and enhancements with user administration, and then explore the professional learning resources available to technical administrators at the local ISD, region, and state levels. And then hopefully you can transfer this learning from today into effective and actionable account administration at your designated areas. Just a reminder of our statewide leadership team. We are represented in the 10 MESA regions. If you click here, this is the directory, and this will take you to those that will service your area, as well as looking at the regional map here. So again, based on the 10 MESA regions. We do have a new SLT member that is joining us, representing Region 1, Travis Powell, Gogebic, Ontonagon Intermediate School District. He's way up there. He actually works in 2 time zones, the Central Time Zone as well as the Eastern Time Zone, and he will be joining us by June 1st. So we're welcome to have him, and he's going to help Val in the Upper Peninsula area. So our agenda for today, welcome any of our new and technical administrators, PD facilitators, our CEPI technical updates, account administration and user lists, our account holder survey update. We want to provide you with some information on that. For those of you that participated in the survey, we appreciate it. Our MISchoolData statewide leadership team updates that we have, professional learning opportunities, and then any feedback or question and answer sessions between each section. So with that, I'm going to move into Cheryl's updates. We appreciate our collaboration with CEPI and sharing this on a bi-monthly basis with our stakeholders. It's become very valuable, and we know that our attendees, whether they're here live or whether they follow up on the recorded session, we do look at that feedback and appreciate it and share that at large. So I'm going to start with her recently released data updates. Early childhood for 25-26 data, the participation by kindergarten class, that has been updated to the portal. Under the parent dashboard, qualified teaching staff, as well as the ratio of students to instructional and support staff. The Pathways to Kindergarten, another early childhood report. Then moving to post-secondary success rates, special education data report, special education annual public reporting, and the staffing count. So those all have been updated in the since the last release. Moving on to the data for 24-25, a lot of college information here, enrollment by high school, by college destination, the remedial coursework that students take, the CTE programs that are offered, early middle college enrollment and outcomes, the early childhood program participation, financial transparency dashboard, on-track college progress, and then the post-secondary student data file. And of course, that is accessible if you have a secure user access. And coming soon, new data will be related to the 24-25 collection, college progression by graduating class, the college transfer, college undergraduate enrollment, and then some post-secondary reports under the parent dashboard, the completion rate, enrollment, and persistence rate. So those will be coming soon. I would expect those within a few weeks or so. Recently released, we talked about this last time, the education entity profiles, also known as the education map and entity views. That report has been enhanced to Power BI. It's preserving all the current functionalities as Cheryl had previously reported, adding PDF download capabilities, the post-secondary entity page, and then repackaging the education map and entity view into the education profiles, entity education profiles. So this is what's new under development with this particular report. They're looking at adding additional pages. Again, this is based on feedback. It may be feedback coming from SLT, or it may be feedback coming through that feedback button that CEPI has available, or the help and support. So know that those are all areas that we collect information back from stakeholders. The entity area, the legislative, county, and then currently in the design stage for these additional features. With the 25-26 PSAT data, grades 9 and 10 will be included in the public release for the spring assessment reporting. So know that there's been a number of conversations around that with having that data available and where that data will be available. So coming soon, new development. And then, as always, referring back to this wonderful catalog that we have for all of the reports, listing them, linking them to the reports that they are applicable to on MISchoolData, providing a brief description, when the timeline when those will be released, and a list of the report demographics. So again, a very valuable tool. And I have to say that when we were at the MSBO conference, one of our CEPI representatives, Dean Sensabaugh, was there, and he was sharing this with some of the financial business office folks. They were not aware that this report cataloged. Like, they were asking him about, well, when is this report coming out? And just different aspects of a business official. And so he was able to show them this. So that was a wonderful takeaway for them. So it is a hidden gem, but it is, we've been talking about it for a long time, but we do this every day. So sometimes we take that for granted, but again, a great resource. Cheryl also wanted me to mention that there is the deadline to update the school servicings and offerings. That is Tuesday, June 30th. And the changes will need to be made by then. And as she reported, I believe the last session, regarding the timing of when those are actually updated to the website, it goes through a process. So it's, not the next day that they magically appear in MISchoolData. It goes through their process. So if you have any questions, there's a help guide here, and Christy's going to talk a little more about the points of pride when she gets into her section. So just a reminder on that. And then also today in the CEPI news and notes that they send out every first and third Wednesday, The system will be down for maintenance on Sunday, June 7th from 6 a.m. to noon, just to let you know that. I know many people are trying to get last minute reports and anyway, the system will be down. So just wanted to mention that. So what questions might you have regarding any of the SEPI updates or coming soon? All right. There being none, I'm going to turn it over to Christy and she's going to present on the EEM area with the collection of the
Great.
updates.
Thank you very much, Rhonda.
Yep.
So the Education Entity Master is the key system that all of the different data systems that SEPI has where we submit data. The Education Entity Master is what is the system that says, okay, here's the different buildings that you have to submit data for. Here are the grade levels that they are authorized to teach. Um, Here is the superintendent of a particular district, is the principals, et cetera. So the Education Entity Master is kind of it's a big directory, okay, big directory. This is where the points of pride are entered, is in the Education Entity Master. And there is a security form that you need to be able to edit the Education Entity Master. And we do have a link to it from within the presentation. So you will have to have that to be able to make your edits. If we can move to the next slide. I'll usually go into even Google and do EEM in Michigan for Education Entity Master, and I will see this screen and choose login with my login for business account. So I log into my login for business, and I'm able to choose the Education Entity Master. And with my authority, I can edit the schools for the Macomb ISD, for instance. When I go into the Education Entity Master, I can do a list of entries, which are a list of entities, which will show me all the various schools that are underneath my particular ISD or my district. And this is a list. It'll go through and it'll show you with hot links to each one of my 17 entities in my profile. And I can look at the points of pride for a particular building by choosing the building or the entity. So I'm selecting a school in the list, and then I'm selecting points of pride, which is the last entry along the top menu boxes. Within this area, it will show what does my school offer? So what have I chosen to show the public and my constituents for what my school offers? And these 13 items are what your choices will be from. So it's nice to use this as also kind of like a worksheet because it'll make it easier to get that information from each of your buildings. The public access, once that information is in the Education Entity Master, public access for anyone to this information is through the parent dashboard for schools transparency and under school services and offerings. So this is where it shows up in lights. And I know the realtors and others, people that are looking to live in your area, maybe looking for particular types of programs, and they come to this area to take a look and see what additional offerings may be made for their children. So if there are questions about the points of pride, you're welcome to send me an email directly. I'm happy to answer that, or you can contact SEPI as well at sepi@michigan.gov. The next item is our MISchoolData users and locations, and I'm very happy to let you know, first of all, celebration, that we have resolved many issues with login names that were containing punctuation. We had some folks that had an apostrophe in their name, and I did personally call the one that we had been working with, Kim, and were able to talk with her and ask her to please go in and check. And she was happy to let me know that she was able to log in. So we're very happy about that, as well as resolving the number of locations assigned to an account for authorizers, like public school academy authorizers that may have had more than 10 schools that they're authorized to look at, they weren't able to have access to all of those schools at one time. It had to be spread across multiple people. That has been solved, so very happy about that. It also helps our fellow ISDs that the intermediate school district may have purview across multiple counties or may be of assistance through a cooperative arrangement with another ISD. So the resolution of the limited number of locations solves several of those areas and makes things much more straightforward. So very happy about that. So welcome to any of the new technical contacts. If there are new ISD contacts for MISchoolData, we do have two that are listed per ISD, one that's more of a general contact and one that's more of a user administration contact. We do show those contacts with contact information within the K-12 personnel. Our next update is June 1st, but we really stay on top of that. So they are at least updated once a month. So we make sure that we can have those contacts for the various districts to be able to get the secure access to MISchoolData. The next update, or after the person's been contacted, they would look at the user request form and then be able to make the permission updates. So the process to update the contacts pages is where we update the contact for each ISD. And then if there's a district person or an ISD person that needs an account, they would contact that ISD contact, provide their FERPA and their user account request form, and that's how the accounts get updated. We do use the General Education Leadership Network to look at the contacts for ISD to make sure that we have things updated. We also will receive the information from the ISDs themselves and sometimes from their districts that'll let us know that there's been a change. The account maintenance is an ISD technical administrator responsibility, and we do have an onboarding session that's available for new users. So the main contact is the person that is listed as the General Education Leadership Network representative for each ISD. We've had great success with that. Sometimes there are multiples, and that's okay. So if you want to share that role, but we at least have one of those per ISD. The accountability contact or slash the technical contact is also one that's listed. And again, we can have multiples for ISD, but that's why you'll see some ISDs with one in each category and others with multiples. And there is a link to the onboarding session with a slide deck, some professional learning, and ability to get sketches, receive sketches and earn sketches for that time spent. I have held individual Zoom meetings as well. So if that would be helpful for your region, please reach out. We're happy to help.
Thank you for the update and very excited to hear about those changes.
Our next item is for the MISchoolData account holder survey update. Kathy Berry from Monroe ISD is our statewide leadership team member who's the survey group lead. And the work group is comprised of Nick Armit from SEPI, Kathy Miller from Shiawassee RESD, and Dr. Megan Drum from Oakland Schools, and myself from Macomb ISD. This is just an example or a listing of the different surveys across the years. We've had 4 years of survey, and each year we very carefully go through all of the results of those surveys and use it to direct our work for the next year. And with this, we have reduced the number of questions from last year to this year significantly, going to more of that 24 question survey. And also made sure that we can look longitudinally back at this past 2026 survey into the future surveys to see how we did, so forward and backward. There were 3,552 email accounts. We only had 195 bounces, which means that you could have people that either their server didn't allow that to go through or they didn't exist anymore. The person didn't exist, and we used that information to clean up the survey or the user accounts. And we also make sure that if the bounce occurred because of a server bounce, then we individually email each one of those folks to make sure that they have an opportunity to answer our survey. That's how much we really, really appreciate the input that's provided. We launched March 3rd. We closed on April 8th. And I'm so happy to say that we had 882 responses. That is really huge for an email survey. The responses by work location, when you look at local school district levels at 410, local school buildings, 226, this is just a really nice, wide range of responses. So it's not just coming from one particular area. And that's the information we want to show, is that all of these voices are heard. And so it gives a nice percentage, and that's about what the distribution would be of those various types of entities within our state. Okay. These are responses by roles. Again, you'll see administrator, the primary use, but then you get into the consultants, school improvement folks. When you're looking at the classroom teachers and counselors and researchers, you're looking at folks that are really using the data, and they're looking at data-informed decisions. And again, very excited to receive their feedback because we're able to make that actionable. We also look at where the locations are for the participation in the survey, and you can see that it's a great look, and we even have some people that were on vacation, and we're in Wisconsin and in other places, but they still answered the survey. So I love seeing those. As I said, we do inactivate users where the emails do have a hard bounce. And we do work through the secure user accuracy by sending user verification reports. And those did go to each of the ISDs this year, as well as instructions on how to run them on their own. So the biggest trick we have is that trick people up is the change to email address. If they've moved entities or they're working in another location, another business, their email address has to be changed in the state single sign-on for My Login for Business. So sometimes that trips people up. Our priorities were established because of the feedback of our surveys. So our first priority, the user support and communication, and we list the items that were provided to us by the survey respondents. One big one is building awareness about the resources. People tend to come to MISchoolData, they use it, and it's fairly intuitive, and they don't know that there are resources available. So we've worked hard to make those resources more kind of in their face and available to get to within a click or two. Establishing feedback loops. Every single report in the MISchoolData portal has a feedback link, and that feedback is used. So we're also looking at customer service logs. How are people voting and what are the reactions to certain reports? So we are able to put polls on some of the reports, and then include different quick surveys and, of course, the annual survey. Connecting MISchoolData to other state systems, to not have these systems being created in vacuums, but utilizing what resources are already available and then leveraging those resources and the information that's part of MISchoolData on into the future and connecting into projects like My Great Data Lake and the My Data Hub projects, among others. Site modernization, moving to Power BI and being able to make our reports more like multiple reports that we can gain information across various metrics and filters by using one report, kind of like a Swiss Army knife. So we're transitioning to Power BI tools, so the data visualizations are becoming easier, but also complex, because the complexity is underneath the covers to be able to make that data visualization easy to use. The refresh of reports, of course, and then our common report structures, as that makes it easier to work with the MISchoolData portal across all the various content areas.
All right, we're down to a few minutes. I will wrap up. Thank you, Christy, with the professional learning resources, outreach and communication. Again, our resources for MISchoolData website, it's under the support menu. And what you will find is the MISchoolData resources link. And within that, there's a welcome page, our presentations and targeted resources, user contacts, main and user, and then about us. This was revamped based on the feedback from our 24-25 survey. And these are the individuals that were involved in the transition of this new area of the website. So as an example, presentations and targeted resources, what you will find is under the second tab, all of these slide decks and other activities that have been created, you will find if you click into these specific areas for content. So that's been evolving, and know that even as quick as today, when I had to update the for our session today, a new SLT member, we go into one slide and it's automatically updating in all these other, populating in all these other slide decks. So we've really tried to streamline it so it's not a heavy maintenance lift for anyone in these particular content areas. Again, our Quick Start Guide collection, that's also available in the MISchoolData resources area of the portal. We did add the financial dashboard last week. That was created a year ago, and somehow it just didn't get to the website. So we've added that. And if you bring any other quick start guides that are of interest, please send them our way, and we will definitely get a committee working. EduPass courses, we do have the popular FERPA in compliance course, navigating MISchoolData, and then also the professional learning resources and user support that you can earn up to 4 sketchies. So those are still available. And our May 26 talking points highlighted the early on dashboard 1 year in. So we also find when we have trainings that this is the early childhood is kind of like a hidden behind the curtain, but it really isn't. There is so much information in there if you have the proper logins for the early, as an early childhood or an elementary principal user. So anyway, just a refresh on that. And that was our highlight for May. We also are pleased that we are going to offer these based on our feedback and our YouTube attendance as well, not just live, but those that follow up with the recording for 26-27. Our kickoff back to school session is scheduled for Wednesday, August 12th. And what we've done is we've tried to really streamline and make it more simple, where you don't have to register for every session. You just register for one, and then you're registered for all of the sessions. So we're planning the back to school. It will be a 60-minute because we have many changes that time of year, and have to go over the content more explicitly. So that is planned again for 3 to 4 on the 12th. These are the remaining sessions for 26-27, the end of September, and then concluding the end of May. So feel free to make that one registration and you should be all set. The Zoom links will all be the same. They will not be different for each one. So we appreciate your patience this year as we've worked through some of those little glitches, but also discovered how to make it more efficient for our participants that attend. Here's a quick postcard. Just click this and it will, be available for you to at a glance if needed. All right, so May, this is where our outreach and event schedule. May, we've been at MPAAA, MIRA, the GELN, that should say May 12th. The My School Data Technical Administrator today, and then in June we have GELN. They also do a collaboration with MySiffin. June 9th, they're both together. And I don't know why MSBO is there. I need to change that. And then in July, the post-secondary conference, that is held July 13th through 14th, and I believe SEPI is represented at that conference. So again, upcoming trainings and such. So with that, any questions? Kim, I'm going to get you those 2 resources. I'll send those via email to you for the scavenger hunt and bingo.
Thank you.
Just
Circle back.
remember to record your attendance, whether you are live or if you are watching the webinar recorded. And any follow-up information, this is our slide with our contacts and such. And then our feedback survey, if you could complete that for us, I'm going to click into there and I will throw that in the chat. So with that, we
I just
thank you
have
for attending today.
about the registration that you mentioned for the August 12th.
Yes.
So I could register for that now and then, or should I wait a little bit?
The link is ready.
Okay.
You're okay.
The link is ready. I just clicked into it, so I'm logged in as an administrator, so it might take a minute to get
I
me
just
in, but
registered too early before all the things are like rolled over for next year, because I think that's where the
yeah,
link.
see, they're all here, so you
Okay,
should be able to. I didn't confirm with Alex if he made it live yet, so just know that that is the link. And if there's any different, I'll communicate that to you when I send you these other resources. Does that sound good?
perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Kim, if you do have any new superintendents or new principals and you know about them, they're going to go into effect July 1 or something, it'd be better if you get them in, in that before the June 1. Otherwise, it won't show up until the August pull, which we won't see in My School Data until October or November. So they're trying to streamline the amount of time between when the state pulls information out of the education entity master and shows it in My School Data, but there's still quite a lag. So
Yeah.
a couple months.
So I don't know if I know any off the top of my head, but I'm glad you said that, and I'll just send a message out to let me know if they have changes.
Great.